Maggie song by Chris Stapleton is going to be played in drop D tuning and then capoed on the 5th fret of the guitar. If you don't know what drop D tuning is, it's where you take your 6th string, which is typically tuned to an E, and you lower the pitch of it until it is at the note of a D, so that it's the same note as your 4th string. It will just be 1 octave lower. Then we capo on the 5th fret, and whenever we play a D shape, technically the note that we're playing here, technically the chord that we're playing here is a G chord based on the actual real notes that we're playing, but I will refer to all of these chords relative to the capo as though the capo is the nut. So I'll call this a D chord. I will call this an A chord. I will call this a G chord, even though it's not traditionally shaped. Because we're in drop D tuning, our G shape will be different than a normal G-shaped chord. So lastly, I will be referring to these frets relative to the capo, calling them frets 1, 2, 3, and 4, as opposed to the real frets 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so the intro. You're going to begin in your D-shaped formation, ring finger on the 2-string 3 fret, and you'll, or that ring finger kind of, it will remain there for D-shaped formation, but you're going to start by plucking with your pick the open 5 string and the open 4 string, and then after plucking those two, you immediately hammer on with your 1st finger to the 5-string 2 fret, and then you will up pick on the open string 3 so that you get, and then you'll repeat that, and then so you got, and then you'll come back to the 5 string where your 1st finger still is on the 2nd fret, pluck that, and then pull off with your 1st finger so that you get twice hammer-ons, and then the last one was a pull off. And then you're going to go into a D chord. For the D chord, your ring finger remains where it's been. Your 1st finger pulls back to the 3-string 2 fret, and if you can put your 2nd finger down on the 1-string 2 fret, you can. I think that sometimes Stapleton leaves this string just kind of out, but either way you're strumming from the 6th string down on a D chord. So the D chord to a B minor chord. For the B minor, you're going to move with your 1st finger to the 5-string 2 fret, ring finger to the 4-string 4 fret, pinky finger to the 3-string 4 fret, 2nd finger to the 2-string 3 fret. So you got down, 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 up, down, 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 up. It's kind of the strumming pattern that gets you through most of this. So down, down, up, down, 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 up on the D chord, down, 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 up on the B minor chord. Then you're going to go to a G chord. The way that you play the G chord is ring finger to the 6-string 5 fret relative to the capo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I like to pull my 1st finger back to the 2-string 3 fret. My ring finger is blocking out the 5 string, but I've got strings 4 and 3 open. I'm strumming from the 6th string down to my fretted 2 string. After this G chord, it comes back to the D chord. So you've got G, so you've got the D chord to the B minor chord, to the G chord, back down to the D chord. And then after this D chord, you do that little hammer on. And it's going to be with your right hand, your picking hand, down, down hammer, then up, down, pull off, then on the 2nd round, instead of going to the B minor, the 2nd round of the verse is going to walk down from the D chord down to the G chord. So the way that you're going to do that is out of D formation, you'll hit 1 D chord, and then you'll move with your pinky finger to the 5-string 4 fret. So you've got, and then move with your 1st finger to the 5-string 2 fret, hit that note, then open up the 5 string so that you've got basically a D note to a D flat to a B note to an A note, and then you're going to come back into the G chord, and then after the G chord you're going to go to an A chord. For the A chord, I bar with my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of strings 4, 3, and 2. And in this A chord there's a little bit of an embellishment where after hitting the A chord, going to hammer on with your ring finger and your 2nd finger simultaneously. While leaving your bar in place, your ring finger will hammer to to the 4-string 4 fret, and your second finger will hammer to the 2-string 3 fret. So you hit the A, and then that would be a down hammer, up, down, and then pull off your hammer. So the second time through the verse, again very slowly, is going to be a D chord, walking down to the D flat, to the B, to the A, to the G chord, then up to the A chord with a hammer on. And then you've got the D chord again, to the B chord, to the G chord, to the D chord with a hammer. D chord again to the B chord, and this is the last round of the verse. The last round will go. The way that you do that is it's walking down from the G note back down to the D note. So you've got the 6-string 5 fret, 6-string 4 fret, 6-string 2 fret, and on that 6-string 2 fret live, Stapleton tends to hit it, bend that note a little bit, and then let it fall back down into fret position, and then open up the 6th string. So you've got, and then the hammer, that would do that little hammer riff that's after almost every D chord. And now this brings us into the chorus. The chorus will be the D chord, and here we don't go to a B minor. Here we're going to go to what is a relative G sharp. I'm sorry, what would this be? This would be a relative F sharp for our chord. So we're moving out of the D chord with our ring finger now going to the 6-string 4 fret, and our first finger needs to remain where it was on the 3-string 2 fret from that D chord. So you've got the D chord, then just move one finger to the 6-string 4 fret, and then we're going to come up to a G chord, ring finger on the 6-string 5 fret, muting out the 5-string, open 4, open 3, first finger pulled back to the 2-string 3 fret, and then back to the D chord with a hammer on. And then the second round of the chorus repeats, D chord to that F sharp chord to the G, but the second time the G walks back down immediately to G, F sharp, E to the D chord. One point that I probably should have made way earlier about this G chord, the way that Chris Stapleton plays it, if you're watching live versions of him do this, he plays this G chord by just grabbing or wrapping his thumb around the neck of the guitar to grab the 5th frets of strings 6 and 5. But for me, just out of habit, it's easier to play the G this way. So if you would rather play like Stapleton, just substitute this ring and first finger G chord that I showed you earlier with wrap your thumb around and grab the 5th fret of strings 6 and 5. That's how he would be doing it, as opposed to I'm doing it. Exact same notes, exact same frets, just using your thumb instead of your ring and first fingers like I'm doing. So those are the chords and the movements to Maggie's song by Chris Stapleton. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to approach the song.